Snow White, and I want to thank, before the show begins, my assistant today was Kale, and he helped me with the backdrop. So thanks to Kale for helping me today. So here we go. Our story today is Snow White. Once upon a time, in a land long ago and far away, there was a princess. She lived in a castle. Her name was Snow White. Snow White was wise, wonderful, and very happy. You would find her skipping in the castle. Now, unfortunately, she had to share this castle with a very mean step queen who cared only about herself and no one else. She would sit upon her throne, but if she noticed that Snow White was having a wonderful day, that would make her angry. She would scream Snow White's name,
Snow White!
And then she would say, and the queen would say,
You're making too much noise. You're giving me a head.
and then she would look at her and she would scream,
Scram!
and then she would give her evil laugh.
Ha ha ha!
Now, she was so powerful that she had captured the beautiful flower fairies from the enchanted gardens. And every day she would scream for the fairies.
Larry!
She would clear her throat, she would clap her hands, and she would scream for the fairies.
Fairies, come here at once!
They would fly out.
Oh no! Whoa! No. That's a lie. That's a lie.
Now the fairies were very kind, loving, but they always had to do what the queen asked. The fairies would begin by saying,
Your Majesty.
and then the queen would ask her question. She would say,
Who's the fairies? All.
and then the fairies would say,
Tell a lie. You are the fairies.
and so all was well. Until one day she did not get the answer she felt she deserved. She asked the question. She said,
Who's the fairest of them all?
but this time the fairies looked scared. They hugged each other, and they knew she was going to be mad. And then they began to fight who would tell her. They would say,
You tell her. 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 You tell her.
until the queen had enough of this. She clapped her hands. She told them to answer the question.
Answer the question.
But this time they said something very different. They said,
What is the fairest of them all?
she looked at them and she said,
What?
and then they answered again. They said,
What is the fairest of them? Scram!
She did not like this answer at all. She scratched her chin. She thought, her head, her chin. And then she came up with an evil plan, and she gave her evil laugh.
Ha ha ha!
And then she called for the guards.
Guards!
Now the guards stood up. They had no idea what was going to happen. They came marching in, and they were all saying,
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
guard said.
Good day, Your Majesty.
And that's when they heard a most peculiar thing. The evil queen said,
Take Snow White far away from here.
and then she told them where to take her.
To the enchanted forest.
The guards asked why.
Why?
And then she said,
He's giving me a world headache. He'll be eaten by bears and wolves.
and she gave her evil laugh.
Ha ha ha!
And then she stood up and she left. Now the guards were very, very brave and good. And they all said,
We must save Snow White.
so they called for Snow White.
Snow White!
And she said,
What's up, guys?
and then they said,
You're in danger. We have to take you away from the castle. We're going to take you to the house of the dwarves. They're good and they'll keep you safe. Follow us.
and so she stood up, and then she marched with the guards as they marched her to the house of the dwarves.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
When they found the house of the dwarves, Snow White sat down. And then the guard said,
The dwarves are at work. Tell them what happened. They'll come back for you safe.
they wished her good luck.
They wish you good luck.
And then they marched off. Hut,
2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Snow White fell asleep. As she was sleeping, the dwarves came dancing home from work. They didn't expect that there would be a stranger asleep in their home, and they screamed. Snow White awoke. She looked at them and she screamed. And then the dwarf said,
Who are you?
and she asked the same question.
Who are you?
And then they said,
You go first. You go first.
and that's when she said,
My name's Snow White. For God brought me here to make me be safe from my evil queen.
and then she asked them who they were.
Who are you?
And they introduced themselves. The first one said,
My name is
and he ran very fast. The next one said,
My name is Jumpy.
the next one smiled and he said,
My name is Cutie.
the next one said,
Hi, my name Giggles.
and the next one said,
Hi, my name is
his name was Thoughtful. And he was thinking. So then she asked if they could stay with, if she could stay with them.
Can I stay with you?
And they all said,
You betcha!
and then they said,
Let's go play.
and then they cha-cha'd out to the backyard to play.
Chat, 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 chat.
Meanwhile, back at the castle, that evil queen was up to her evil ways.
Guards!
She opened the fairies this time.
Fairies!
They came flying out.
A lot of fairies!
And they said good day to the queen.
Good day, Your Majesty.
And the queen asked her question. She said,
Who's the fairest of them all?
and the fairies this time were scared. They looked at each other and they started to argue about who was going to tell her this time.
You tell her. 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 You tell her.
Evil queen clapped her hands.
Stop at once!
And then they answered the same way they answered before. They said,
Why did the fairy?
she realized the gods had not done as she had asked. So this time she asked the fairies where Snow White was.
Where Snow White was.
And then the fairies all answered. She And then she looked at the fairies, and they looked so scared. And then she told them to
Scram!
This time, the evil queen decided she would have to take matters into her own hands. She took an apple. She put a sleeping potion in the apple. And then she disguised herself as an old woman. She waited for the dwarves to go off to work, and Snow White was by herself. Now,
Knock, knock.
Snow White asked who it was.
Tail.
And then she said,
I'm a very old woman. I'm a very kind woman. I'm selling apples.
Snow White rubbed her tummy. She loved apples.
I love apples.
And then she said,
Would you like to have a bite of the special apple? Yeah, sure. Take a bite of the apple.
and then she fell into a deep sleep. Evil Queen looked at the apple, and she held it up, and then she said,
How do you like some apples now?
now the dwarf came dancing home. Cha 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 cha. Now they could tell, just by the way that Snow White was sleeping, that she was under a sleeping spell. They started to cry. Just at that moment, in walked a handsome prince. The handsome prince asked what was wrong.
What was wrong?
And then the dwarf told the prince that their friend was under a sleeping spell.
Our friend is under a sleeping spell.
And the prince said,
That's not a problem. I know how to break that spell. I learned it in Prince College.
and he said,
She got it. She got it.
yeah, it's a very silly part of the fairy tale, isn't it? Okay, so she has to be kissed by a prince. So he blew her a kiss. So very fast he blew her a kiss, landed upon her cheek, and she awoke. Now, They knew the evil queen was going to come back, and so the dwarves waited patiently for her. And when she came back, they ran over and they put on her feet the red hot dancing shoes. And they ran back. Now, once you have the red hot dancing shoes on, let's stop dancing. So she danced faster and faster. There was never able to stop to cause anybody harm again. So everybody lives happily ever after. The Okay, let's have the guards on over here. Can we have the guards over here? Then we'll have more room for the fairies.
You said cards.
Okay, now repeat after me. Bells are singing.
Bells are singing.
What do they say?
What do they say?
Dance of joy and laughter.
Dance of joy and laughter.
It's happily ever after.
It's happy ever after.
Ding, ding, dong.
Ding, ding, dong.
Look out and say thanks for watching our play.
Thanks for watching our play.
Everybody take a bow. So now, while the other kindergartners are leaving, I'm going to set you guys up for a class picture, okay? So you guys can wave goodbye to your friends.